Well, 2 Americans killed just in the past week fighting for ISIS in Syria. But they weren't fighting alone. Overall, officials say the number of Americans joining the terror group is close to 100.
So how do we make certain they don't gain entry into this country? Joining us now is Gary Berntsen. He's spokesman for Concerned Veterans for America. He was also commander of all CIA forces in eastern Afghanistan and Kabul bureau chief, a man who knows what he's talking about. Gary, thanks for joining us this morning.
Pleasure to be with you today.
So how many it's hard to believe that there are any Americans doing this, but apparently there are. What's your guess on how many and why?
Well, there are statements right now. There's estimates of 100 to 200. There's up to, they believe, 800 Russians. I mean, this is a massive international force, not different from what we saw in Afghanistan back in 2001 when we invaded, where it was like the United Nations of murderers that were there. You know, we're a large country. We have 320 million people. There is a growing Muslim population. There are people that believe in fundamentalism, Sharia law, that are, even though they're receiving the fruits of the freedoms that you get in America, they still support the other side and are looking to create a worldwide caliphate. They believe in this stuff. They're fighting for this. This is a sort of a great adventure for them. When we invaded Afghanistan in 2001, there were millions of people trying to get in to fight us from Pakistan. There were traffic jams 20 miles long. We looked at satellite footage trying to get in. We made the decision, let them in, we'll kill them on the battlefield. And so with this conflict, there are jihadists from all over the world, U.S., Canada, Russia, you know, I mean, just every place you can imagine that are pouring in there to fight.
Do you think the goal is to go over there, get some training, and then come back to here?
Well, I think that they'll come back if instructed to come back, but you have to realize, too, that when they enter, ISIS takes their passports from them. And ISIS, like Al-Qaeda before, would hold all these things, would do photo substitution, creates their own alias documentation center, and so when they come back to us, they may not come back at us with their own passports. They may come back into Central America or into Mexico and try to walk across the border.
Right.
If they suspect that we're looking for them, they'll come on a different, you know, they'll use alias documentation.
So obviously we're worried about them coming here to the homeland, but how do we cut off the spigot from them even getting recruited and radicalized?
Well,
I mean, they've found a way to somehow make this cool. To a normal person, beheading people and slaughtering Christians is not cool.
It is what they have been selling through, you know, you have radical mullahs selling this ideology to young, impressionable Islamic men who believe that they have been victims of the 20th century, that they've been victimized, and this is their chance to fight back against the West, to fight back against Israel, and they sell them on this, and they go, they buy it, they go, and you've seen, you know, suicide bomber from Florida, another guy killed, I don't know whether the second one, whether he was from California or not, but there'll be many, many others. And we're in the beginning of a struggle here. Look, the president is talking about, you know, and we've been doing airstrikes against them. These people will not be defeated by airstrikes. It is going to require boots on the ground. And someone's going to have to put a force in there to fight them. Somebody's going to have to do that.
Why does it have to be us?
Well, the point here is it probably should be us leading a coalition of forces. We need to do what George Bush did in 1991. Bush the father. He built a massive coalition. He got the Moroccans in. He got the Syrians in. He got everybody in. You need a president who's on the phone. You need a president who's providing leadership. We're not getting that from our current commander-in-chief. The Saudis even recognized last week the religious authority, the senior mufti in Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Abdulaziz al-Sheikh, announced that these are ISIS is an enemy of an Islam.
So what are they
must
doing?
Be destroyed.
So what are they doing?
Well, actually, they did a meeting this week in Jeddah with the entire GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council, and all their foreign ministers have agreed we need to act too. And so the United States, and they've actually, you know, the king actually of Saudi Arabia has called the United States to get in, to be more active. We're going to have discussions with our allies. This is something we should not fight alone, but we need to build a coalition, and we need to destroy these people as quickly as possible.
Because they're a major threat to stable, non-crazy governments in the region.
They are a great threat to the GCC, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Oman. And so I think the GCC has woken up in the last 2 weeks. They see this danger. They want the United States to play a larger role. We're going to have to do this together, because you don't defeat insurgencies with air power. If you go back to counterinsurgency theory and practice by David Galula, the father of counterinsurgency, he talks about the specific steps you need to do on the ground to win. We're going to have to be someone's going to have to be on the ground, and it needs to be an international force, probably led by the U.S.
Gary, we've got to But one-word answer, are we close to that coalition?
Not even close.
Gary Berntsen, thanks.